everyone, welcome back to Ormsby Farm. My name is Casey. So this is part 2 of a year in review video. On part 1, we talked about all of the stuff with the house that we did in the first year of having the homestead. Now it's the nitty gritty. It's the greenhouse and it's the garden. Y'all know we had a wonderful harvest this year. For it to be our first harvest, we moved on to a little under 10 acres here in Southeast Georgia. And we did great harvesting. Learned a lot, and we're gonna do a lot going forward next year. One of the things that we cleaned up, we had it already, but it was not a big success, was our greenhouse. Let me just talk about how growing in a greenhouse is like an art. So we're gonna walk over, we're gonna talk about it, and talk about what's going on with the greenhouse. But until then, let's roll that intro.
I'm coming home.
Alrighty, so we're inside of the greenhouse. If you remember, we've done a lot of videos on preparing this greenhouse, but as you see, a lot of the weeds still came up. I treated it and everything. I know I've said multiple different sizes of this greenhouse, but I actually measured it today, and it is 28 feet wide by 55 feet long. So it's a biggin, and we're gonna get it cleaned and put about 4 or 5 different raised beds in there. I'm gonna show you kind of what she had already had in here and what we're gonna keep. But we moved some of the shelving here from the warehouse to put over in our plant start area. And we have that freezer from last video that we will put over here. So if you wanna see us clean up this greenhouse, then stick around. One thing about this greenhouse, and I said it before in the beginning of this video, is that growing in a greenhouse is like an art. I have not quite mastered that art yet. But one thing that we are definitely going to do going forward is this greenhouse, especially because we're here in the south, we're in zone 8A, is it gets very hot, very quick, dry in this greenhouse. So we're going to make sure that we choose plants and trees that would fit this environment. Now, the sides do come up. It is a 55-foot greenhouse. And one thing that I'm going to be doing on the ground is I am going to cover it with black plastic, and I'm going to either cover it with more gravel, like is done now, or I'm going to put like mulch and that kind of stuff down. I am going to build some more hugelkultur beds. We did a video, thanks to my friend Carmen at Jesus Loving Homesteader, taught me about hugelkultur. It's the bed that I'm sitting on right now. Because it is somewhat warm and gets in the cooler, I am gonna probably try lettuce pretty soon here and see how it does, because lettuce likes cool. We weren't able to master it last year. As you can tell, I had the black plastic over the 2 other raised beds. I'm totally going to rip those beds up. We're gonna spread stuff out, and we're gonna start fresh in here. In here, we're talking about doing some lemon, lime, and orange trees, dwarf trees. But I will be looking at other vegetables and crops that do well in dry and heat. If you know of some of them, leave them in the comment section. We would love to hear what you think we should grow in here to give it another go round for round 2. But now let's go ahead and I'm going to take you over to where all of the magic happened this year, and that is in the garden. Side step as we're walking to the garden. Y'all remember, I started in this before the house was done, but now it is Brother Chris and Sis Tara's little home away from home, while they are waiting and preparing to start building on their part of the property. So just wanted to stop real quick. Y'all, another pit stop, but look at this compost. Oh my gosh, it is looking so good. I just turned it yesterday. As you can tell, we still have pine saw falling, but this is just another side stop. I did a video on this and I'm so excited to use it this year. Oh my gosh. All right, so like the next part is gonna be a lot of the walking, because I'm just gonna be walking through all the different garden areas. Y'all know this was our first year to do I think we were at about 2,500 square foot for our garden this year. It did wonderfully. We went ahead and we tilled with a hand tiller, which we won't be doing that this year. We are gonna do it tractor-wise. And we laid down this black plastic, but it's really like ground cover, and had a wonderful garden year this year. Front part of the garden, everything has germinated and it came out actually really well. But these are the Chinese noodle beans. I'm gonna spray today because they're getting nibbled on by something. If you know, leave it in the comment section. But all of the Chinese noodle beans, 2 of them didn't germinate, but that's okay because we got tons and I'm so excited to try them. So they're all looking really good. Yes, they're all looking a little thirsty, but they get water tonight. Tonight is watering night. So the first 2 rows, if you remember from me doing a video, the 4-part series, is our slicer tomatoes. So I have a row of Jet Stars. And the Jet Stars are supposed to be early producing, and I do believe it because I'm starting to see little flowers starting to shape on some of them all the way down. They're looking really healthy, really good. I highly recommend when you do plant, adding that handful of the rabbit manure to give that nitrogen, to give that kind of push, because that's why the tomatoes have done so well. Because y'all remember, they were smaller ones when I put them into the ground, and they just have completely blown up. This one right here is actually a cherry tomato. It is, I think the type is 100, called 100, but it's getting a lot of little flowers. And the rest of this aisle right here is actually beefsteak slicer tomatoes. So these are all organic beefsteak ones. You got the Jet Star, you got the beefsteak. And then moving on to the next 2 rows are our Romas. And they're all Roma tomatoes. They're all looking really, really good. The weird thing is, okay, so when you buy seeds from like Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever you buy seeds from that are not through a seed company, you never know what brand you're gonna get, to be honest. Because all of these came from 2 different packs of seeds. And Mom, if you get up close right here, all of them said Roma, but they're 2 different plants, if you can see. So both of them are still healthy, still looking good, still producing like they're supposed to, but there's some random, like this, random weird Roma tomatoes. But again, they're all looking good. They'll all produce great harvest for us. Another row of the Roma tomatoes here, looking good. And then these next aisle, don't mind my little bootleg contraption here, of the bell peppers. All of them are looking good. There's still some little ones, but all in all, they're doing really good. They're also going to get a spray of neem oil today because it looks like stuff is nibbling on the plants or nibbling on the leaves.
Hope it's not raccoons. We have found some raccoon poop around here.
I don't think the raccoons would nibble that lightly.
Yeah, that's true.
Look at that garden. Yeah, it's crazy. Alrighty. Y'all, this is so crazy about this garden, y'all. And I watered this morning, and it is so crazy. It's not as blistering hot, but all the water that was left in the thing has evaporated. But these are the Chinese noodle beans that I got from my friend Galinda over at Grace and Fire. And they're starting to put little flowers on. And I'm so freaking excited because I think all of these, Glinda, when you watch, comment below if make sure I'm saying it right, that all of those are going to be some Chinese noodle beans, and I'm so excited. They're looking so good. There was only one that didn't germinate at all. So right now it's just an empty hole. But now these are our jet starter tomatoes, y'all. And there are a lot of the flowers. Let me go from behind, see if you can see it from behind. Now I'm gonna come back out here a little later and rope up a little bit more of these, but I'm telling you, I learned about these jet stars from Sarah and Kevin over at Living Traditions Homestead, and these are super prolific. When I tell you super prolific, I'm looking and I'm seeing like hundreds of the flowers, and I'm hoping that all of them will turn into yummy tomatoes. Look how tall they are. Like, y'all, this is like almost 5 feet already, and this is June. But I do have to rope all of them up. I've been using my little trellisy thingies. I wish I had better names for it, but that's just it. Now let me tell you, we are gonna do a video of pulling all of this stuff up. It's still here, I'm letting it feed the soil. But y'all, we had so many hot red peppers that I had to just let them be and let it do its thing. But what's changing next year in this garden is I am going to widen the garden, as you see on the sides of the black plastic. All of this will be tilled, and ground cover will be laid down for a double-sized garden this year. The reason we didn't do it this year is, if you remember, I hit a water pipe during getting this garden ready. So let's take a quick look at that. It's not a day at Ormsby Farm. So we were putting the T-post in and busted the water line. Let me actually turn you around. Tara, show where we hit it. Literally
right here on the edge.
right there.
So if we'd have gone over literally like an inch, we would have been fine, but we didn't know that was there.
So this may be a 3-part video, because we are just that good. Price thing, baby? Oh!
Try everything.
Oh!
Ah!
Well, we got it out.
Ooh, that was funny.
It's all over my pants.
It's okay.
Okay, somebody give me like a tissue. It was a hot mess, y'all. But I learned we're getting it repiped in the outside of the fencing. And I am going to get new ground cover. The ground cover that I got, I will say, when you're going into gardening and homesteading, don't be super cheap because it doesn't always pay off. This one, I looked for the least expensive ground cover, and it did not soak in the water. So it was a lot of puddles of water instead of soaking through and feeding the plant. So next year, this will actually go over to this area, because all of this is being cleared for corn. So I will be reusing it, but I am going to have that put out there and get really nice one for inside of this garden area. I'm just gonna sling in some videos here of how the garden looked during our amazing harvest this year. At 5 Dog Farm, y'all, look at this one right here. And Nikki said that's like not even quite ready yet. Maybe this one is. I don't know. It's pretty big. And I'm probably gonna harvest it. But yes, that's done well. I harvested some zucchinis, but they are slowing down. Trying to see if there's a couple little ones in there, so I will give them until the end of August for this. But they've produced wonderful, beautiful zucchinis, and I'm so excited that I'll have them for the winter. But this is the area that will all be cleaned up at the end of August, and we will go ahead and get some of the fall stuff in. Now this next aisle is where the English cucumbers were that we just pulled up. I will be getting the T-posts up. They did wonderfully this year, but they did go ahead and teeter off. And behind that is my peppers. This is the row of spicy. I got some jalapenos. I got some Crio de Cochinas. I got some cayenne. More. Oh, these are the serranos. The serranos have been doing amazing. And I've just been like harvesting them red and putting them in a freezer bag because we will actually turn that into some buffalo sauce and some hot sauce and all that yummy stuff. So the crazy thing is I thought this was a jalapeno, y'all, plant until now, because as you can tell, nope, hers is a bell pepper. Way to go, Casey. All right, let's move on to the bell pepper aisle, which is funny because I have a cayenne at the end of one of them. But look, I mean, the peppers are doing so good. It's a mixture of I have a lot of different bells down here. I have different colors. Of course, you can harvest them green. I've already done that with a couple of them. Look, there's one of the carnivals right there. I'm telling you, we canned and we froze and we this and we dehydrated and that. And we have a lot that we're so excited to be able to use for $50 February. That is being hosted. It's a collab in February by my friends Rich over at Old Sweets Farm and Annette over at the Cow Emporium. I'm going to be doing a video talking about more of that coming up. But be sure, I'm going to leave a video right up here talking about the collab. Head over there. But now we are in the orchard. Now the orchard didn't do as fabulous this year because we did have brown rot. If I did a video on it, I'm going to insert it here. But we are having people from the extension office, the master gardener over there, come out and kind of guide us in what we need to do for pruning our grapevines and pruning our fruit trees. Something for 2023 that we're going to be doing is I'm going to be adding a lot of fruit bushes. We have 2 blueberry bushes that are still very young. They produce a little bit, not much, but we're going to do it out in this area as well. But also I'm walking over here to our watermelon patch. I got lazy this year and did not till. Now I'll tell you I regretted it, and I'll tell you why. Because I am a big proponent for tilled gardens. It just didn't do how it was supposed to, y'all. So this area right here behind me will be tilled very nicely, and we will have some watermelon and cantaloupe again this year. So yeah, tilling a must. And also with tilling, while we're on that note, I'm walking over here to what was our pumpkin patch this year. Now y'all know I did not till this year. Ooh, bees, y'all. Already it's January. But I did not till. I did little circular tilling, and that did not work. So this area right behind me in an L-shaped will be our pumpkin patch. And while we have the tractor and the tiller, that is going to be tilled so that we're ready to do pumpkins to start selling and canning and all that kind of stuff. But I'm also walking down here to our what's going to be our Christmas tree lot. Again, it's going to be tilled. We're going to start with Christmas tree seedlings. Now that is going to take a couple years before they're ready for sale, but we're excited. We have a lot of property and we're going to be doing that. And behind, we have talked about it before. All of that right there. We've talked about tiny houses in that area, and I'm not going to get into too much depth on what we'll be doing, but we have decided, I've decided that we are going to be starting a non-for-profit to work with the foster children in our area. That way they can learn about farming, gardening, animals, and also, learn more about the power of Christ. So I'm so excited about that. We're calling it Camp Ormsby. More to come on that. But now we got to talk about 2023 and farm animals here. So let me just flash and speed, and I'm going to wiggle my nose and be over in the chicken coop area. So that didn't work. Alrighty, y'all. So now we're at the chicken coop with lots of plastic that still needs to be pulled up. But we are going to be doing chickens and turkeys this year. And we're going to start them in the early spring. The chickens, we did a video, me and Sis Tara, on cleaning this area out. It still needs a little bit of TLC, and then once we move the chickens out, which they're large enough to move out here, we'll definitely give it a good kind of like TLC love over. But the chicken coop area is ready to rock and roll. On the opposite side, we were going to put turkeys, but I'm going to take you into this pen that we're keeping for the pigs, and it's sectioned off where we're going to be doing turkeys in there as well. So come on, because I don't think I've ever really taken y'all into this pen area that's going to be cleaned up. Alrighty, so I know I've talked about it on some of my videos, but this area, the top will be coming off. But we figured it out when me and Brother Chris and Sis Tara were walking in here that we will probably be doing turkeys in this area with the roost. Of course, the top's coming off. Clean this all the way around to an L shape that's fenced in. Or sectioned off, I should say. And this will be our turkey run. The frame of it is still in good shape. And there is a door that works. But this area and here will be our pig pen. Again, all of this will come down so I can actually stand up when I'm feeding the pigs. I've learned a lot from the boo thing, Lisa over at Yogi Hollow Farm, and her adventure with pigs this year. She has some fabulous videos, so definitely click up here and go check over my boo thing on pigs. But we will be doing pigs in here. I'm going to put a lot of where's the tall spot that I can stand up? Here we go. A lot of the stuff that's in here, I'm going to make the maze open so that the pigs can run, but I will have an area just in case we start breeding the pigs to have a little section area that's just for mama and babies. But I've never taken y'all in here, so I wanted to kind of give y'all a little show around. From the outside, it looks like a lot more work than when you're standing inside. But y'all, that is the wrap up of this video a year in advance. Thank you so much for sticking through this video because I know there are longer videos. Y'all, I hope you're enjoying these type of videos. If you are, go ahead and click that thumbs up and click the bell so you know that anytime that new content drops to the channel here at Ormsby Farm, we're going to have a lot coming out here in the early spring, going into garden season, that you won't want to miss. Y'all follow us on social media at Instagram and Facebook at Ormsby Farm. And until next video, be blessed. Happy New Year!
I'm coming home.